Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of the Sick Podcast, Recruits Draftcast. It's our Sunday Habs Prospect of the Week edition, and boy, do we have some prospects to talk about. As always, the Habs prospects were dominating this week, and we actually have four to discuss. We always have our main Insta Customs Habs Prospect of the Week, but three honorable mentions as well. I was at the game last night against the Devils at the Bell Center, so I have a few thoughts about that, seeing the boys play live in person, but we're also going to talk a lot about the Laval Rocket, the comeback Kings. They almost got the same trick played against them against Hartford there. They almost blew a 3-1 lead, but they held strong and they won the game. They are hot right now. So lots to discuss, Grant. Let's get started.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Recruits Draftcast.
With our first pick in the 2022 NHL Draft, les Canadiens de Montréal sont fiers de repêcher from the Slovakian national team and TPS Turku, Juraj Slafkovsky.
The sickest NHL draft and scouting podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Producer Shane here, joined as always by the great Grant McCagg. Grant, you got a big day coming up, right? You're going to go see top 3 2025 NHL draft prospect Michael Misa play live. So we're going to talk about that on Friday. But how are things other than that?
Oh, full hockey mode. Watching junior. I was watching a Russian kid with 20 points in his last 9 games playing in the MHL. Safe to say he's going to be featured on the next draftcast there as one of our spotlight players. He doesn't skate very well. Like he's one of those guys that his back skating is but give him the puck and oh my goodness, he's got really silky mitts, and there's some fun video that I'll have for our Friday show. So been crazy busy with looking at the prospects and watching Habs and the Rocket and Habs prospects. So yeah, staying busy and maybe catch a little bit of the end of the football game after the Rick Springhetti's coming up from Montreal to see Misa. Awesome. So gonna hang with Rick and see if I can talk him into going for a pint and catch the end of the football game before he heads back. But it's a long drive, so you never know. He might say no.
Yeah, stop by Jack Astor's.
That's where we're gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm going for one after catch the end of the game. So
right on.
Sports weekend, baby. It's great. Love it.
Can't complain. That sounds like a lot of fun. That does. And you know what? I had a lot of fun last night as well.
Yeah.
Habs lose 4-3 in overtime to the Devils, but what a game that was. First period aside, that was such a fun game. And, you know, the guy that Kent Hughes calls at the beginning of the show there
was just a walking.
Oh, it was buzzing. The atmosphere was electric. Felt almost like a playoff game. Not quite like a playoff game, but close. It was a lot of fun. But the guy that Kent Hughes mentions in our intro video, Juraj Slafkovsky, 2 assists last night. That first line was buzzing. They are clicking at an elite level right now. Nick Suzuki, 3 points. Cole Caulfield, 2 points. They were the factor in this game, right? And Alexandre Carrier gets his first goal as a Hab, a rocket from the point. Love to see it. The place loved it too. I mean, when they called his name, it blew up. That was great. But again, the star of the show was Jakub Dobes, right? First period aside again. Second and third, he was the man. He was in control, and he is yet to lose in regulation time in the NHL.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ray Emery's record win streak's not in, it survived another day, another year, but maybe he can go, 10 games in regulation without losing. That'd be cool. No, he he was great again. Loved Slav. It's nice to see the multi-point games from him. I meant to look at the stats, but he's got to be, in his last 15 or so, I think he's back on a 60-plus point pace, which is what you want to see. You want to see him progressing point-wise each year at this age, and I think he's going to hit 50 at least again, I think, this year, and that's for a 20-year-old, that's more than fine. Logan Cooley, cool to see Logan really, he's almost a point per game. So
I have him on my fantasy team. He's been good to me.
Yeah, well, that's not bad for Slav. He's competitive, and he'll be noticing that, and he'll want to, he'll want to keep pace. So you watch. You always notice how happy he is when he gets a point too. He gets just like when they interviewed him and you didn't get an assist on that play, and he wasn't too happy, but, which is good. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
a point means that he's helping the team win, right? And that's always his main focus. But Dobes continues to look good. That one goal.
the goal, the Brett goal, he knew he should have stopped that.
Yeah,
one.
you saw him shaking his head.
First period aside, he was great.
I talked to Rob Ramage a couple of years ago and he talked about how that's something that he needed to work on, was that he would let it bother him too much when he let in any goal. Just hates to ever surrender a goal, which isn't a bad thing as long as you don't. And obviously he didn't harp on it. It didn't affect his game. It just made his resolve stronger.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with the Habs and the Rockets, but they're both. It's almost like they need to go into the third period behind, or they're in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Laval blows leads in the third period, but if they're behind, look out. The other team's got,
Yeah, it's not sustainable hockey, of course, right? You can't always come back from a deficit. You have to learn how to keep a lead and get a lead, but it makes for some fun hockey. You can't the Laval Rocket, the comeback kings, right? They did it again against Hershey. No, like the two-time AHL Calder Cup champions, right? So that's not too bad. But yeah, again, the Habs last night, they come back from a 2-0 deficit, tie it 3-3 and go to overtime, and then misplay there by Laine and Matheson. Jack Hughes on the breakaway, you knew that was going in. That's just how it goes. The Devils are a good team, but yeah.
Hughes is yet to lose it in Montreal, which kind of sucks. He actually didn't. He was quiet up until then, really.
Yeah.
They had kept him in check pretty well, Gouli's playing solid. Ever since he's been paired with Carrier.
Yeah.
I think he's got to be on his left side, right? That's his natural position. He's still got so few pro games experience. You gotta keep him as comfortable as you can. And then Carrier as his partner. It's a nice pairing. And Matheson seems to be fine on his offside so far. It helps when he's got a dynamic partner like Laine there. They're both pretty good at getting when there's loose pucks in their zone. They're both so quick, right? One or the other gets to the puck and turns on the jets. Like Matheson, we saw it a few times there in recent games where he gets the puck and he wheels around the net, or just puts on that burst of speed that you need to get away from the defender for long enough to get the puck out of the zone, right? So
exactly.
Very happy with how the defense is playing since Carrier came on board, and they're in every game. Ever since that Pittsburgh blowout, even a Toronto game, like
They were in it.
Yeah, I mean, till the halfway point of the third period, it was, anybody's game. So really, since the Pittsburgh blowout, they've been in every game. So that's very encouraging, especially when you saw. I don't know what the goal differential was before Carrier arrived, but it wasn't good, and they've really tidied that up since. And they're competitive. They're staying in it. Ottawa got 2 points last night, but it was against the Leafs, so
yeah,
I can never be upset about the Leafs being beat, even if it harms the Canadians a little bit. But
it was a lose-lose situation, no matter what.
That's right, but it wasn't. They only lost 1 point to Ottawa, so Columbus just keeps winning. They're surprising me.
Man, they're good. They're really good. I have 3 of them on my fantasy team, so I'm like,
and that's without Monahan. And they announced
the wrist 6 to 8
weeks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, another 6 to 8. Did you got Marchenko?
I have Marchenko. I have Werenski, and I just picked up Merzlikins. So I'm liking it.
You have Werenski. Oh my goodness.
I most certainly do. Yeah, listen to this trade, all right? I traded Connor Hellebuck. I know it sounds crazy, but I traded Connor Hellebuck for Draisaitl and Werenski. So I'm pretty happy with the deal. I'm liking it a lot. Yeah.
I don't understand how fantasy hockey works, but I guess that's good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
The top
it is very good. I'm liking it.
The top goal scorer and the leading, almost leading defense scorer.
For the best goalie, yeah.
All right. Hellebuck isn't getting that many goals, right?
No, that's it. Those wouldn't count either. Nedeljkovic got one, and it didn't do anything. I have him too, and I was pissed. But anyways, we digress, guys. It's gonna be a big show. We got lots to talk about, so that's all we're gonna do for the Habs. You could tune in to the Tony Marinaro show on Monday. He's gonna go through the New Jersey game, everything that's going on around the team. We're going to get straight to the Rocket and the prospects of the week, but not before I talk to you about Cheapest T-shirts. Our good friends over at Cheapest T-shirts. If you're looking for the cheapest clothing prices, you have to check out CheapestTshirts.ca because they offer the cheapest wholesale prices on 36 top clothing brands and 941 different items. You can enjoy their unbeatable cheapest wholesale prices with no minimum order requirements. Order today, get it tomorrow. Don't miss out on amazing savings. You can shop today at CheapestTshirts.ca. And if you're looking for a hat trick in real estate, Team MK Prop Remax delivers every time with 5-star Google reviews, professional photography to make your property shine, and unmatched West Island expertise. Helen and Franco's award-winning service guarantees that your real estate journey is a winning play, whether you're buying or selling. Trust the team that makes every move a success. Call Helen and Franco at 514-915-1750. Grant, I said we're going to get to the Laval Rocket, but I have to ask. Because Friday night, the hockey world blew up out of nowhere. Mikko Rantanen was traded to the Carolina Hurricanes in a blockbuster deal that we have rarely seen in the NHL. Martin Necas goes the other way. Taylor Hall's going to the Carolina. A whole bunch of things happening. What did you make of that trade? Who was the big winner in your opinion?
Yeah, Young Torp got traded twice. That was the big shock for me.
Right.
Chicago wins. They got a third round. No, I don't know what they're doing. Really what they're doing. But, you would have thought that they'd have been able to get it. Well, I guess Hall's salary is fairly high. I didn't look at it, but
they held 50% of Rantanen's. So
right. I mean, I guess they got the space right, so they figured that they wouldn't get a third round pick for Taylor Hall unless they kept 50% of and gave up a prospect. So I don't know what. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me, but I'm sure there's a capologist in Chicago, that said, do this deal. Okay. Yeah, that one shocked me. I was doing some video, and it got, I got told, hey, the young lad there, so what do you think of the trade? Like, I wasn't paying attention to social media. And, well, what trade? Rantanen. What?
Yeah.
I believe it's the first time that a point per game players were traded for each other since 91 or something, they were saying.
Wow.
So it's not very often it happens. It's interesting, though, like Nick Cash, 55 points, Rantanen is 64. But Nick Cash has spent most of the year playing with like Drury and KK.
Yeah.
While Rantanen been playing with McKinnon. So if you'd reverse that, would Rantanen have more points than Nick Cash this year? Like, I guess,
We'll
you look
out.
at it.
Yeah.
You look at, yeah, that's right. You look at it in that regard and think, well, surely, even though he's slowed down, surely Nick Cash can keep that kind of pace playing with what might be the best player in the world right now in McKinnon. It'd take a little while for the chemistry to get there, but I don't think, Rantanen's a better player, right?
Right.
He's got the more proven track record. And obviously, they've been trying to deal. That wasn't just false rumors about them trying to deal net cash, right? They were shopping him since the summer. And Colorado obviously didn't want to sign Rantanen for more than McKinnon makes, and that I get it, right? Just like Slav and Caulfield didn't get more money than Suzuki. Just kind of a unwritten understanding that your best player should make the most money. You don't want to piss him off. So, but I think McKinnon certainly would like to. I don't think he's too happy that Rantanen's gone.
No, he looked pissed.
Yeah. So would he have been more pissed that Rantanen's making more money, or more pissed that Rantanen got traded? It's, I don't know. You'd have to ask him, but I don't know if they did ask him. I guess they didn't, because he seemed pretty shocked by the whole thing. But Colorado's always made bold moves, and I like it for Carolina, because they've needed a bigger a power forward, I think, in their lineup, in their top six. I mean, they've got Svechnikov, but they needed another one. Netchkash, he's always been a little bit perimeter. Like, as much as I like him, he's not really a go to the net power forward type player. And I think in the playoffs, they think to get over that hump, I think they thought that they might need a bigger, more physical presence in their top six, and Rantanen will bring that. He's, maybe the best power forward in the league. So, like, not a fighter type power forward, but just a big, impossible to move type guy that's going to help you in the playoffs. He was great in Colorado's Cup run, right? And he'll help them out a lot. Also makes me wonder if they're trying to free up a little bit of room, because they took back two players for one. The two, like Drury and Netcash, are making approximately the same as Rantanen. So two making the same as one. Get rid of a player or two that's on the roster, and bring in Landeskog, right?
Yeah.
Because they need cap space. Landeskog makes about $8 million, right? They take him off LTIR. They got to find the room. So look for them. If that's another part of this, then look for them to deal a couple of other roster forwards to clear up a bit of cap space and bring Landeskog in. You know, Drury's a good bottom line center. He'll help them, playoff type player. If you can add Netchcash and Landeskog, that makes up for, losing Rantanen supposedly. But it's going to be interesting to see how the two teams do in the playoffs. Wouldn't it be something if they ended up playing in the final? It's a possibility, right?
Cinema.
But there'd be some nice storylines there, right?
Yeah, big time.
Media would love that.
No, I when I saw that alert by Elliot Friedman, I nearly dropped my phone. I had to double check to make sure it wasn't a parody account. I'm like, no, wait, this is Elliot Friedman saying that Rantanen's going to Carolina. Whoa. Anyways, I love it. I love this action, right? Any kind of movement, big time movement like that is amazing to see. I love the balls on Tulsky there, new GM in Carolina making big deals. Love it, dude. I love it. So yeah, I'm all for that. I don't know if he's going to re-sign though. 14 million's pretty steep, but hey, his buddy Aho maybe can convince him to stick around. We'll see.
Well, that's right. They're good buddies, and Aho's not going to. You can make Rantanen your top salary, and it's not going to ruffle feathers in Carolina because he's the best player, right? So I think with them being good pals, and especially if they have a good playoff run, and it may not cost 14 million at the end of the day. It might be 12 or only 12. Or like maybe if he's really happy there, he'll he won't ask for 14, but hey, it's a possibility that that's what he gets. But this is the first domino, right? I think what this is going to result in is some big moves, to try to keep pace with what Carolina did, especially in the East. Like it's wide open this year. It really is. There's no team that's running away with it. Toronto have the best record, second best record, and they, that doesn't matter. Because they usually, regular season Toronto versus playoff Toronto, two different things usually. So be interesting to see if Washington tries to pick up some another piece to keep pace, because the East is going to be so fun this year, the playoff race. I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully a couple of teams, a team in West Quebec and Eastern Ontario, hopefully they're both in there too.
It's going to be a battle for the wild card, and it's exciting. I've never seen something this crazy, like the wild card spot. I mean, there's like 3 points that separate like 6 teams. It's completely nuts right now. So I hope
different wild card teams every day.
That's it. I hope this trend continues the rest of the season, because it makes for just such good hockey, right? Every team has something to play for. It's not like watching, no disrespect, but like the Sharks and the Blackhawks, who are fighting for Matthew Schaefer, essentially. It's teams who are fighting for their playoff spots. Yeah. So I love it. And I hope there are more moves to come. Like you said, Grant, I hope teams in the East, are kind of forced to bolster up and pay up for some big moves. So more to come. But yeah, we had to tackle this. We know that this is a prospect show, but this is just a massive, massive trade that we have to talk about it. So we'll move on to the Laval Rocket, but not before I tell you all about our good friends over at sportbuffshop.com. Sport Buff, okay? That's where you shop all your sports licensed lifestyle apparel, including hoodies, caps, and tees of your favorite teams from all major leagues. sportbuffshop.com. And if you use code SICK10, you get 10% off all their items. All right. Laval Rocket, first in the North Division, third in the AHL. 2 nice wins in a row there. They come back and beat Hershey. The erase a 2-0 deficit. Adam Engstrom in overtime. Great move. gets the win. And then against Hartford there, they go up 3-1, but they blow that lead. But Logan Mailloux, with the dying seconds of the third period, with a blistering shot, gets the team the win. This team is buzzing. And the fact that, they lost Joshua Roy, they lost William Trudeau, Jakub Dobes was called up, right? They're still winning. They're finding ways to win. And Cayden Primeau, undefeated in 6 starts this season in the AHL, 926 save percentage, 181 goals against. He's where he belongs. He's an excellent AHL goaltender. We'll see about the NHL later on. Maybe some other team will give him a shot, but right now, he's in his spot.
Yeah. Oh, you just keep, thinking of Charlie Lindgren, right? I mean, he couldn't crack the Canadians on a full-time basis, and went to another organization, paid his dues for another year or two, and now he's a solid NHL goalie. So
yeah,
Cayden never gets discouraged. You can always just say, "Hey, look at your brother in there, and Charlie Lindgren," and just I think he was a Northeast. Was he a Northeastern goalie as well? I believe so. Maybe not, but
that one.
Anyway, just say, look at Charlie. Just there's no rush. There's always goalies that don't develop until after they turn 25, and every year there's goalies that come up. Logan Thompson,
That's
like that kid wasn't drafted. He was playing at 18. I went back and looked like he was a backup, at the junior level. And now, he's arguably the best Canadian goalie, probably should have been picked for that, safe to say.
Yeah.
For that. But, typical Canada, there's always guys left off that deserve to be on their team, just like the World Juniors.
That's it. I mean, they're still loaded, and we know Suzuki is an extra for that team. Matheson is an extra as well. So even if there's a few guys that fall for Canada, they're going to have some great backups in the pipeline there. So that's a good point there you make on Logan Thompson, right? Cayden Primeau, still relatively young for a goaltender. He can still crack the NHL at a full-time basis later on, but right now today, he's helping Laval win, and he's an instrumental part of that. And the team, Pascal Vincent needs to get a lot of credit as well, right? It's a very young team, a lot of rookies in this team, a lot of second-year players, but he's managed to, get it into their head that they can compete with anyone and they can win any given night, and they have. They've done just that. They're first in the North Division. They're headed towards a playoff. Playoff berth there. So hopefully they keep the motion going, because they've been trucking all season long, with few dips here and there, but overall it's just been up. And we mentioned it previously and on the last show there, but Owen Beck, named to the All-Star team in replacement of Joshua Roy, gets a nice goal against Hartford as well. So the young guys are buzzing. The team is buzzing. It's awesome to watch right now.
For sure.
Amazing. Well, you know what? I think it's a perfect segue for our Insta Customs Habs Prospect of the Week. Let's get to it.
Insta Customs Habs Prospect of the Week.
And of course, the Habs Prospect of the Week is proudly brought to you by Insta Customs. They are Canada's highest rated custom apparel and drinkware print shop, boasting an impressive 4.9 Google star rating. Whether you need printed or embroidered t-shirts, hoodies, crew necks, hats, and more, they've got you covered. They specialize in emergency rush orders to meet your tight deadlines. Their store is conveniently located on Stanley Street, downtown Montreal, but ordering online is just as easy. You order today, it's printed today, pick up or ship today. Visit them at instacustoms.com. Well, I mentioned him briefly there. The hero for the Laval Rocket against the Hartford Wolfpack. I was going to say Whalers, but Wolfpack is none other than Logan Mailloux, and he is our Habs prospect of the week.
Yeah, could have been a few guys, but I thought Logan deserved the nod. I had a look at him here. Now, a good video that after enduring like a 16-game stretch with no goal, Mailloux has 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 5. So, including 2 goals and an assist in this game against Hartford. So it was an easy nod to him as the prospect of the week, even though Demidov was great again. Now he netted the game winner in the dying seconds just to cap off an incredible game. But as you'll see in these highlights, like this video, there was his first goal. Great.
Beautiful.
He's got he gets the puck in the middle of the slot there. And he's got a bit of room. Look out, it's going in the net. He's got got such a great wrist shot, accurate and hard. But I included the good and the bad in this video. Like, how his defensive play and his offensive play. And you'll notice that the good far outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
He did not make many mistakes defensively. It was very solid, actually. And, he's been solid in his pairing with Hoffenmeyer lately. And he was an offensive force throughout the game. At the start of the season and in the past few games, he does not look like the same player we saw in between. I think he was battling a lower body injury of some sort, as he just didn't seem to have the same jump in his skating that he had at the start of the year and he's had in recent games. So, I mean, you don't hear about it, right? They don't tell you.
No.
If there's some issues. So, I think he was battling something, because the skating is appreciably better, but he's regained his confidence, and that's good news for both Laval and Montreal. He was struggling at both ends of the ice, it's fair to say, for a few weeks, and it was puzzling, as I just hadn't seen that in the last couple of years. He's just kept getting better and better. So I think it was there was an issue with an injury that he clearly has gotten over, because he was just great in this game. There was his assist, but his skating is a large part of his game, and he's moving better than he had been. He's jumping into the play more, as you see here. There was a nice rush. Like he could have had a 4 or 5 point night with a little bit of luck. Just like at the start of the year. He went through a period there where he was tentative, but in this game, as you saw, he was jumping up and trying to make a difference. There's another example. Part of it obviously was he had some turnovers for a few games there, where I think maybe he thought, oh, this league's too easy, because he had that run of points at the start of the year. And, got a few turnovers and this and that. May have been told to reel it in a bit, but then overcompensated with it.
Yeah.
But ever since then, I'd say the last 3 or 4 games especially, he's been really solid defensively. He's not, he's not making a ton of mistakes. He got hurt there. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but he headed over to the bench. Obviously, and you notice there his next highlight wasn't till, so he missed a little bit of time there, but been too hurt. He scored the game winner here soon after. So here you see him again. His gap control is improving. He's not giving up a lot of space there, which is another, just goes to tell you that his confidence is back, that he trusts his skating. He didn't get caught up ice like he had been in some previous games. But here we go. Here's the last shift. He gets the puck in the middle there.
Oh,
and
amazing.
Bingo. 36 seconds left. He's got
Wow.
such a great wrist shot. It's one of the best in hockey.
Mhm.
You'll notice here that, he was smart to move up into the play and then just rips it, blocker side. So beautiful goal, timely goal. He's got his confidence back. Look for him to, it's going to be fun seeing him at that All-Star game too, because he's just rolling in time for that. I think it's next weekend. It's coming up very soon anyway. I'll be interested to see how he does with the hardest shot. Because he can
he's got a chance.
He can rip it, and I'm sure he'll be in that. If they're smart, they'll have him in that competition. And I'm looking forward to see what he can clock on the radar there. So, I mean, Fowler had a great. If I'd have been able to find some video on him, he might have been the prospect of the week. But unfortunately, the video's not up on his shutout last night yet. But he was in the running. Demidov, Demidov, no points in his last 2 games, so he's slumping. So he
right.
He got edged out by Mailloux, and Oliver Kapanen again also been outstanding, and I got some video on him too. But give the nod to Logan, because it looks like he's back, and he's such an important piece of the future. I think the Canadians see him as a top 4 right defenseman, and that game that we just saw against Hartford, he looked all of that. So very encouraging.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And David Reinbacher's been practicing solo. All the equipment on him, and he's been doing drills. So he's apparently progressing faster than anticipated. If I still don't want to rush him, but when he is ready and he's ready to join the Rocket, that's a huge addition for them down the stretch there and into the playoffs. He's going to be a big difference maker. So imagine that. I mean, that used to be a position of weakness for the Habs and the organization, but now that Logan Mailloux, right, David Reinbacher, they just got Alex Carrier, who's like 28, right? He's not that old. I think they're doing pretty well on that end. So love to see it. Grant, you mentioned Jakub Fowler, and it's absolutely insane. And you tweeted about this, some crazy stats, right? He picked up his 6th shutout of the season in 22 games, 6 shutouts. He leads the NCAA in shutouts, obviously, right? He has a 163 goals against and a 938 save percentage. He's tied for the NCAA lead in wins, and his 833 winning percentage is the best in college. I get that he's playing at Boston College, which is an elite team, right? But at the same time, he's still got to save the pucks, and boy, is he saving them. Wow.
Yeah. Well, his last 4 years, I put up his combined stats at one point and earlier in the year. He just wins and stops pucks at wherever he is. Doesn't matter. You can't say it's the team. It's him. He's good. He's really good. So the Canadians goaltending, it looks as promising as it has since Carey was in his prime, obviously. So, he's already doubled his shutout total of as a freshman, and saved 61 to 63 against the longtime rival Boston University on the weekend, which is they're no slouch. So,
wow,
like that's about a 980 or 968 save percentage or something pretty awesome. So yeah, he just keeps getting it done, and I'll get video of the next show there. I'll get video of him of his shutout his 2-0 shutout win last night just isn't up yet, but he definitely gets an honorable mention again.
Big time. But we'll move on to our two other honorable mentions, which we have video of. The first being Ivan Demidov again, right? He's actually getting ice time now, and we've been clamoring on Roman Rottenberg all season long because he was stubborn and all that. But give credit where credit is due. He's playing him, and he's playing well. Let's have a look at that.
Yeah, I grabbed a few from earlier in the week. He excuse me. He was quite solid even when he didn't get points in a couple of games there, but you'll notice that he's just he makes dynamic plays every game. And of course earlier in the week here's the one last game.
That should have been a penalty too.
What an inside move he made there. It was amazing. Look at that. That was so quick. Like you almost don't see the deke that he made there. It just it amazed me. And then the pass here.
Oh,
like that was something else. Perfect. Like, yeah, he's a great shooter, got a great shots, going to score a lot of goals, but his passing might be the best part of his offensive game, and that's saying a lot. His vision is fantastic. But you just, you watch all of these. Look at the guy, he tripped him. No penalty. Like it was an obvious. Stuck his foot out. You can see it right there.
Wow.
How is that not a penalty? Like, come on. If anything, it should have been a penalty shot, really. And then here's the one that, of course, went viral, right?
Shrugs it off. No big deal. No big deal. Yeah.
That's me. But Garnett's a half decent defenseman, and he just made him look like I would have looked. That's an incredible move. And then nice finish too. Yeah, the goalie got a piece of it, but wow, that one blew up the internet. And I just happened to be watching, and I said, when he made the assist, I said he's not of this planet in a tweet, and then he went one planet further with that goal. That was, one of the most beautiful. And of course, somebody, replied to my tweet saying, "Oh," and of course it's like a Leafs fan, right? But what's his face there? Celebrini did that every game in college. I said every game, yeah. No, he didn't. No, he had a couple of similar plays in college, but nobody is doing that every game. That was an extra special, maybe the highlight of the season in any league so far this year. And he's probably got 3 or 4 other contenders. So
that's it.
Just so dynamic, fun. Yeah, I guess he's not coming this year. His contract doesn't end until, unless the Habs make the finals, maybe. But his contract doesn't end till the end of May. So typically you don't see Russians till the following year. So that's too bad. But it's no big deal. He's getting lots of ice time now. He's 22, 24 minutes most games,
Yeah.
So that's crazy. That's good. And he's developing just fine. And we'll just have to be patient and wait till next training camp before we see him in a Habs uniform. But I think the Canadians, safe to say, are going to have 2 strong Calder candidates in a row. Lane's obviously front runner along with Celebrini for this year. And I think Demidov will step in and be one of the top rookies in the league next year.
Absolutely. I wonder if that's ever happened. The same team wins back-to-back Calder.
Yeah, I do believe, and I meant to look that up, but yeah, it's happened. I just can't remember who it was, but I recall it happening, and
Wow.
I'll have a look at that and maybe put a tweet out later tonight or tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty busy the rest of today, so it might not be till tomorrow.
That's a pretty charged day. We'll get to our final honorable mention. He started the year with the Montreal Canadiens, went back to Timrå, and he has been clicking at a point per game pace. We are talking about Oliver Kapanen.
Yeah, I watched some of the shifts yesterday's game, and he was outstanding. There's his goal, first shift. Thank you very much. He had both goals and an OT loss for Timrå yesterday. Nice shot, eh? He has a 7-game scoring streak. But look at what I noticed. His skating since the start of the year has just gotten better and better. There he gave up the puck, but I like the confidence he has in wheeling here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a nice defensive play. So I'm not going to ride him too hard on losing the puck there, but his skating, look at like the burst, and he had a great chance there too. Yeah. 9 points in this 7-game scoring streak. He's averaging a point per game now. One of only 7 in the SHL that's doing that. An argument can be made for him being the second best center in the SHL right now, behind David Tomasek, who leads the SHL in scoring and is third in faceoff percentage. Look at that shot, eh? Again, he's just he's got an underrated shot, and we didn't get to see it much in Montreal because he didn't get a lot of opportunity.
Yeah,
but he's better suited at center, and you notice it in these highlights. Like but Tomasek leads the SHL in scoring and is third in faceoff percentage. Kapanen is also faring well in the faceoffs. He's won 55.8% of his draws, which puts him top 7 among all Swedish centers. So Tomasek and Kapanen are the only centers in the top 10 in both categories. The SHL isn't quite as fast as the NHL, obviously, but the difference in Kapanen's skating speed compared to the start of the season is noticeable. He's quicker and his stride is more powerful. He's never going to have a long stride, but it looks to be improving in that regard. I don't know if his confidence had something to do with it, but he's likely in better game shape than he was by the end of his tenure with the Canadiens. Like, he's averaging 18 to 20 minutes a game as first line center. I've loved the battle in him too. He's been in a few of these of late, and he's really like, he's got a physical side to his game that, and he's a big boy too. So I like that. Look at him pointing at the guy, but he wanted, the puck was loose, obviously, and he went for it here, and suffered the consequences later. But that's the second scrum we've seen him in recent games. Here he lost it sort of, but then came back, made the defensive play. If that would have been Montreal, he'd have got a penalty there. But the way they, the last 2 minutes, they seem to always call one on the Canadiens. But he's averaging more than 18 minutes. In Montreal, as a winger, he was averaging 11:38. So he's skating a lot more. He's in better shape, and you can see that his skating is better now. I've seen a couple of comments. I mentioned something about Kapanen on Twitter yesterday and say he'll be good in Laval next year. I don't know. I think he makes the Canadiens in camp next year. He's NHL ready. He was at the start of the year too. There just wasn't a spot for him, really. But You know, maybe arguably one of the top 2 centers in Sweden, in the Swedish league. That's a hell of a league, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's come in and he does it all. He's good defensively, winning draws, skating is good in that league, and it's a pretty fast league. He point per game, one of only 7 in the league. I see an NHLer, and I see a kid that should be playing in the NHL, and he's only going to get better. He'll probably play for Finland again at the World Championships at the end of the year, right? And that's always good. That's good for your progress development as well. So
yeah,
I think that both Beck and Kapanen make the team next year. The only thing that might prevent that would be if I don't know, they pick up a big free agent in the summer or make a deal for another player. But depending on, like, if all of the free agents leave, the UFAs pending, there'll be a spot for both those guys, and I think they're both ready. So that's very encouraging for the Canadians. One might start out on the wing, and that's fine too. You know, play situationally, take face-offs on your strong side and stuff. But I've loved Kapanen. In that game there, he was dominant. So Timra, ever since that speech by Ole Jokinen, they're getting points. I think
I love it. Yeah,
they've got points, I think, in every game since, and that was the first one they've lost, but it was in overtime. So they've really turned it around, and they're a strong team. They've got like, I don't know, 3 guys in the top 10 scoring aside from Kapanen.
Wow.
They'll be probably go on a decent playoff run. It'd be nice if they won the SHL, and then he goes to the Worlds after. So lots of good development, just like Beck in the last couple of years. Kapanen's been playing a lot of important games, and it'll be the case the rest of this year, and that's only good for his development, and he'll only be better next training camp with Montreal.
For sure. Love it. The more the merrier, right? I mean, we could have a few more Habs prospects to talk about, but that's all we have for you today, folks. We thank you for tuning in, and make sure you're tuned in on Friday, because Grant's going to tell you about Michael Misa. Is going to go see him later today. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to hear about that. As always, we're going to be back on Sunday for our usual Habs Prospect of the Week show. Before we head out, however, I do want to tell you all about our good friends over at Betway. You can go all the way with Betway and get a free bet up to $200 if your first bet loses. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. The offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. The offer is not available in Ontario, and you must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Grant, I hope you enjoy the game today. Hope you have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you on Friday. Take care, everybody. For Grant McCagg, I'm producer Shane. This was another edition of the Sick Podcast, Recruits Draftcast. See you later.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, Recruits Draftcast on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.